first things first. I can see my colleague already in those preparations that have been, the burial preparations have been taken over by the military, bearing in mind that he was a general, a 4-star decorated general. And my colleague is keeping tabs with what is happening. Achola, good afternoon, and kindly bring us to speed with what exactly is happening.
Great, Ben, Troy, and Joy. Indeed, we are in Elgeyo Marakwet, and of course we are focusing on to get the finer details of exactly what happened yesterday at around 2 p.m. here in Kabena village in Sidara area. This is the exact spot where that plane crash happened yesterday in the afternoon. And Ben, the clouds behind me hanging over Cherengani Hills provide a spectacular view of figuratively probably a good picture of what the locals here would actually want to see going forward in terms of peace prevailing in this particular region. But also it conceals the sorrow that actually engulfs this valley. Now, this valley is actually, Kerio Valley is actually dotted with a number of military camps, and those small military camps have actually been set up in this valley purposely to try and curb the cattle or livestock theft in this particular area. And that is the reason as to why, of course, the general, the first general that we've actually just mentioned was in this area to try and officially to try and ascertain the progress that has actually made in terms of bringing some sort of peace and coexistence in this particular valley. And where I stand, this farm is actually aptly named a money farm, and some of the efforts that have actually been put in place by the locals and the administrations was to ensure that eventually, that finally they actually open up this farm for the locals to start actually engaging in income or gainful income generating activities, so that then they go away or they shun from engaging in retrogressive practices as cattle rustling and what have you. But of course, unfortunately, what happened yesterday did happen. The locals here have been painting a graphic picture of exactly what happened at around 2 p.m. when the chopper landed in this valley. Of course, most of them running to this particular spot, just trying to ensure that they can actually rescue whoever was in that chopper. At that point in time, they didn't know who exactly was actually being carried in the ill-fated chopper. But of course, as news trickled in, they stood to understand the enormity of the situation. But from the stories that we're hearing here, Ben, Troy, and Jue, is the dedication and, of course, the selfless of the locals who actually ran to this particular spot just to ensure that they did rescue those who actually still trapped into the ill-fated chopper, and also try to ensure that they actually rush to the nearest hospital. But that aside, Ben, Troy, and Joey, what I can actually report is that the scene of the accident has actually been taken over by the KDF, as was reported yesterday. And as we speak right now, the reason why we are actually far away from the scene of the accident is that we are actually not allowed to take pictures of exactly what is happening. Now, the special forensic team from KDF arrived here at around 10 in the morning, and what happened is that they've actually been carrying out that forensic analysis of the remains of the ruins that are actually there, in terms of just ensuring that they try to piece together the evidence that they will be finding here, so that then eventually they can unravel this puzzle of exactly what happened yesterday. We are reliably informed that senior security officers will actually be touring this place, and we have been told that the team that is actually staying put in this particular place will continue staying put here, and of course they will continue with their work up until the time that they will have concluded their work, and also when their senior officials will actually be here, so so then they can actually move to the next step of their investigations. But as I said, of course, the locals have been painting a graphic picture of exactly what happened. And one of the locals here will just tell us he was not far away from this place and will just tell us exactly what happened. Bana, naomba unijulishe wewe ni nani?
Naitwa Mike, mimi ni mkazi wa Kapena.
Mike, umeniambia kwamba hapo saa 8 mlisikia mlipuko mkubwa sana na kisha baadaye mkatoka kule kumkua mkakimbia mkafika hapa. Hebu tueleze ilikuwa namna gani?
Hiyo ndege ilitoka venye iliamka haikuwa mbali na haikuwa mbali na venye ilianguka. Kusikia hiyo sauti haikuwa ni ile sauti ya kawaida. Ndio ndege ikakuja kufika hapa Sindar, shamba ya Amani, ikaanza kuanguka. Propeller haikuwa inasungusha na ikaanguka hivyo. Wenye walikuwa hapo karibu wakajaribu kuokoa watu. Hao watu wote walikuwa wamekufa, wakabaki wawili. Wakaokolewa, wakaanza kutoa na wakapeleka hospitali.
Mlikuwa na ujasiri mkubwa sana. Nini haswa iliwasukuma kwenda kufika katika eneo hili, na tunajua kwamba eneo hili jinsi ilivyo Kiamani?
Tulikuwa preparation ya kutengeneza hii kufyeka shamba na ndio hiyo nini ikaanza hivyo. Hiyo ndege venye ilishika moto na ikaanguka kwa hiyo shamba, tulikuwa karibu hapo.
Ben, that is Mike, of course, giving us a picture of exactly what happened yesterday at around PM when it was first reported of exactly what was happening here at Kabena or Amani farm in Kabena village. Ben, I'm told that you have a question. If you can actually pose it, so then we see if we can actually answer it.
Actually, I wanted to inquire in regards to the team that was sent yesterday, the investigators, how far they've gone, but I think you have also touched on the investigators on the ground.
Fantastic. But just probably to beef up on that is that they've actually been here from 10 a.m. today in the morning when when we came here, when we were eventually allowed to come near the scene at around 10 a.m. in the morning. And what has been happening is that they've actually been combing through, of course, that rubble just to ensure that they get the final details of exactly what is happening. They are not allowed to talk to anyone. Of course, that is common knowledge. They have not allowed anyone to talk to any officers at the scene to actually talk to anyone. What we have actually seen is that they've continuously taken pictures. They've continuously rummaged through the debris just to ensure that indeed they get the final details. And of course, they are talking less but doing more in terms of ensuring that they unravel this puzzle of exactly what happened yesterday. There's a lady here that, of course, claimed the first general.
Thank you so much, Achola Simon, live from the scene of the accident at Amani farm in Elgeyo Marakwet, the scene of yesterday's deadly crash where General Francis Ogola, together with other senior military officials, perished in a road accident, leaving 2 other senior officers nursing injuries at the hospital.